Okay, so this is our coffee farm. What we have here is an 8-acre farm, and the coffee orchard, which is what we call it in Hawaii, our coffee orchard, is 5.5 acres. I have 3,200 trees on here, and when we purchased this, all of it looked like our neighbor's property over there. In other words, it was unimproved jungle, and the first thing we had to do was build a road up there, and then there was a pahoehoe flow, you know, the kind of lava that looks like a frozen river, and we had to knock it into pieces so that we were able to put the terraces on here so we could build. One of the things I did while I was still in California, I prepared myself by putting pouches on in my best friend's construction company, and then taking the contractor exam, and I built houses for a number of years while I was working as a consultant also, so that I know what goes where. So I am owner-builder on all of our properties, and I design them. Of course, architects and engineers have to be involved in all of that, but I saved a lot of time and money. So the building behind us, which you'll see in a minute, which is the bed and breakfast, I started that one in January '04, and we moved in June '04. And down here then, the first thing I had to tell the excavator, in other words the general contractor with the really heavy equipment, to make this flat enough so that I could ride a tractor from one side to the other. Making it into a one-person farm means I need to be able to mow it, I need to be able to spray. All of this is organic, of course, and for that reason they had to fill ravines and pull all of the trees out. All of the stuff that you saw over there is really invasive species, a lot of Christmas berries, which are really awful. The leaves give you dermatitis, the berries are toxic, and the wood is completely useless as firewood. So the only thing that we did is we left the native ohia tree standing. This is a hardwood redwood tree, and the columns on our bed and breakfast lanai, on Mango Sunset lanai, are our own ohia trees. So here then we have planted the Kona coffee trees, and this was done after we put in an irrigation system. You learn how to do an irrigation system by sitting down with a large supplier on the mainland and taking the salespeople for lunch and so on, and then put a grid on here and drew X's. The rows are 12 foot apart, the trees are 6 foot apart, and that way I have about 3,200 trees, and we planted those in March and April of '04. So nothing that you see anywhere on the farm, with the exception of the ohia trees, is older than March, April '04. Now, a few things about the farm itself. There are 750 Kona coffee farms here in the Kona coffee belt, and of the 750 farms, only 40 are certified estates. A certified estate means that you have all the coffee from one location, and one operator is in charge of all phases of production. And we are certified by Kona Coffee Council and by Kona Coffee Farmers Association from seed to cup. So I do everything with the help of our farm interns. They belong to a program called WOOF, Willing to Work on Organic Farms, and I wouldn't be able to function well without them. They are a blessing, and yes, sometimes you have interior designers from New York who don't know which end of the shovel is up, but others grew up on Grandma's organic farm and want to have a piece of land of their own. The most important thing is that they're motivated properly because they are volunteers, and they usually understand that I am not a volunteer and this is not a hobby farm. And they come here between 3 weeks minimum and 3 months or so, and we're totally nicotine free. Our farm is certified smoke free, and that's the way we need to keep it. And also I don't allow any kind of illegal drugs, and no drunkenness. You can drink but don't get soused. That's about it as far as the farm itself is concerned. And now more about the, oh yes, and of course about 50 of the 750 farms are organic in one form or another, and we are both. We're a certified estate and we are organic. and we won the silver medal last year. So I'm trying to do everything I can to produce the best coffee in Kona. And we go through many more steps of quality control than a lot of farms do. In fact, most of the Kona coffee farms are just harvesting cherry and then selling their cherry to a large processor. There are half a dozen or more very large processors, and the 100% Kona coffee that they sell, if they sell 100% Kona coffee, which most of them do, it's very good Kona coffee, but it comes from 20 or 50 or 150 different farms in Kona. And there are qualitative differences from high elevation to low elevation farms. Low elevation farms, their coffee grows faster, produces smaller beans that are less dense, and high elevation farms, meaning anything over 1,200, 1,400 feet or so, their growing season is longer. For instance, in the lower elevation farms, they're usually done by Christmas or January with picking, and we up here pick all year round. My season goes from August to August. I picked 15 rounds of coffee cherry last year and last season, and the last coffee I picked from last season was in late July. And now we have started picking our 09 and 10 season. 09-010 season, I suppose, and we're on our second round of cherry picking. Now, most coffee farms, you heard earlier that I have an 8-acre farm with a 5.5-acre orchard. Most coffee farms in Kona are very, very small. Of the 750 farms, there are approximately a dozen or so that are large, considered for Kona, large, 50 to 150 acres. And those are corporate farms that usually also buy from other farms. And the big names, you can find the big names from Costco to Safeway to Kmart and those kinds of places where they have an in, because they have much more muscle, much more marketing dollars. They fly to Honolulu and lobby there to get their stuff into the chains and so on, and we can't do that. So we are a small farm. We do everything ourselves, or we take it to a place where I am there at present and look very carefully at how things are done. Marcia, incidentally, is a certified ISO 9000 auditor, and so when it comes to quality control, not only am I very, very careful about this, but also Marcia is a good resource for quality control. And I also know formally, originally I'm from Berlin, and I served in the German Air Force. In fact, my first exposure to the United States was when I came from the German Air Force Academy as an exchange student to the American Air Force Academy. And then when I flew planes later on for a short period of time, I became very much aware that sometimes it's good to sit on the beach and drink beer, but at other times you need to be very accurate. And when it comes to the quality of coffee, I don't take any shortcuts. Thank you.